I admit it, I do have some opinions about homeschool that are probably considered to be unpopular, at least in the social media realm. So I'm going to share with you today some of my, what I consider unpopular opinions regarding homeschool. Now, this is a collaboration with my friend CJ from Homeschooling Through High School. If you have not checked out her channel, please do so. I will make sure that it is included down below. But CJ offers some great wisdom and resources for those upper elementary, middle school, and high school grades. So it's something that I cannot find a lot on social media, and I hope that you will be able to enjoy CJ as a resource as much as I do. So let's get started with what I consider unpopular homeschool opinions. Now, this is the middle school edition. I do have a 6th grade daughter, and so we are beginning our navigation of middle school. And the first thing that is what probably is unpopular is socialization. This is the first year that I have really considered socialization to be a priority in our homeschool. In the past, we would be able to go to a playground and she would come to me and tell me, oh, I met a new best friend, or this is my best friend now, or things like that. And it was so easy to meet people, to play with them, to just have fun with others. And that transition into middle school eliminated that for whatever reason, which I think that we all kind of know it, but for whatever reason, when we went into middle school, socialization had to become a priority because my daughter needed it. And isn't that really what homeschool is about? Finding what your child needs, meeting them where they are at, and then progressing from there. And so we have, in fact, made socialization a priority this year for our homeschool. I don't know if socialization will continue to be a priority for us, but I do know for this point in time in middle school, it has to be. It is vital that socialization is a priority for us. If you are interested in how we socialize, what we do, and all of those things, I will make sure that I leave links to those videos down below. But is socialization a priority for you? Please let me know, because it seems to be a dividing factor. And also, what are the ages of your children? Because I think that socialization as a priority may change based on the ages of your children. Let me know. Am I right? Am I wrong? Another opinion that I want to share with you is that we do give tests and grades. My daughter gets grades in every subject. This is partially because she is grade motivated. I was grade motivated. It's just something that is in us. We are grade motivated people. And at this point, when I can find the motivation, I stick with it. So we do give grades in our homeschool, and we also give tests. I give standardized tests at the end of each year, and it's because I want her to get comfortable with those standardized tests, or at least as comfortable as she possibly can be. Standardized tests do require a skill set, and so I want to help her learn that skill set for those standardized tests as she moves throughout her educational career. Now, I also give tests in our homeschool. One of the primary tests that I give is in spelling. Now, she is still working on spelling. We are so close to stopping having spelling as a subject in our homeschool, but for right now, we are. Each week, she does have 20 words that she is tested on. Now, we do a pre-test at the beginning of the week. If she makes 100 on that pre-test, then she doesn't have to do the 5 worksheet pages that are included in this book. If she does not make 100 on that pre-test, then she does the workbook pages every day, and she has a test at the end of the week. I've gone back and forth on spelling tests throughout our homeschool. When she was in 4th grade, we did get away from the lists and away from spelling tests, but the middle of 5th grade, we brought them back. It was necessary. The reason I had gotten away from it is because I noticed that she would memorize just for the test, and then she would dump it. And then when we got away from spelling tests and we were doing other spelling curricula, I noticed that it didn't really matter. She still just dumped it. And what I'm doing now with this pre-test versus the post-test and giving some incentive to not having to do the worksheets if you are able to make 100 on the pre-test is really seems to be helping. I've noticed that her spelling in other areas outside of spelling has gotten better with this philosophy, with this practice, and so we will continue having tests. Now, we also have tests in science. There's just some things that you need to know. And science is something that as she is getting into some of these upper levels, I need her to be able to take information from one section and apply it to something else. Now, we do not give tests in things like history. She loves history. She always has since probably 3rd grade. It has been her favorite subject, and she just takes in so much history. It is something that she really enjoys. We do a lot of review, a lot of narration, and so that truly is our type of test. We do have a history bowl that she plays that is kind of like a test, and it's a lot of fun. So we have tests in subjects that I feel we need to have tests. We don't have tests in subjects that I don't feel we need to have tests, but we do have grades across the board in every subject. Also, we do prioritize read-alouds in our homeschool, even in the middle grades. We loved them when she was younger, and we are loving them even now. Some of the reasons that I continue to prioritize read-alouds: vocabulary. When we get into these great novels, some of these vocabulary words are just difficult. And so whenever we're doing the read alouds, I can stop and say, do you know what this means? And then we can have that conversation and explain the vocabulary, how it is setting the picture. Number 2 is for comprehension. Again, and this goes back to the vocabulary. If you are not understanding some of the vocabulary words, then the comprehension is not there. Number 3 are the discussions. When we read Nate Saint, the discussions that came out of this book were fabulous. I am so thankful for this book, and we loved it. When we read Kingdom's Dawn, this was another one that I'm glad that we had as a read aloud, because there are so many biblical parallels that are included in this book. And in fact, I caught on to him a little bit before she did, and I didn't say anything. I wanted to see how long it took her to come up with realizing that there were biblical parallels, and it didn't take her very long. And so then we were able to continue discussing this book and the parallels that were going on. And if this was not a read aloud, those discussions would not have taken place. And so I am very thankful for that. When we read Clean Getaway, we were able to talk about the civil rights movement in a way that we were never able to talk about it when we were studying it in history. And so these are reasons that we continue to prioritize read-alouds in our homeschool. I strongly recommend them for the middle school grades. We have loved them. Now let's talk about independent work. I see quite frequently people stating that this is my child's independent work and I don't really have to monitor them. I don't have to spend a lot of time with them. They can learn this on their own. And I have a hard time with that. Whenever I'm thinking about me as a student, I needed those teachers, especially in subjects that I was having a difficult time understanding. I needed somebody to see when I needed something to be reinforced, when I needed something to be described a different way. And it was so important to see that immediately, to see it in the midst of it, rather than going a day or 2 days or a week and then having to go back and revisit a math concept or a grammar concept or a science concept. And so we do have some independent work. I consider that to be homework, but that takes place after I have already talked through the concept with her. Now, as she gets older, the independent work will probably become more and more. But right now, even in middle school, I want to be extremely active in what she is learning, how she is learning it, and being able to have those discussions, be able to pinpoint where more help is needed immediately, and be able to, quite frankly, see where sometimes we can just skip over some concepts. If this is a review for the 10th time and she had it earlier, then we don't need to spend the time on that, versus independently where she would just be assigned the pages as you go through the workbook. So tell me, are these unpopular opinions or are they not? Thank you again to CJ for joining me in this collab. Please make sure that you check out her channel, Homeschooling Through High School.